Welcome back to the Commanders. The Washington football team. The Red Wolves declassified. What was it? The Sentinels Who knows? For now, we're
Just
the
call it the
Commanders.
Declassified Podcast.
Yes. Just welcome back to
Declassified.
the Declassified. And we're going to have some fun tonight. Tonight is our third annual Commanders Declassified Training Camp Extravaganza. And that means training camp is back, or else this show doesn't happen. We got a lot of really cool guests in the house. I'm going to say what's up to all of them that are here now. More are on the way. We got somebody watching the door. Security will let them in when they get here if they have their credentials. Let's say what's up to our regulars. Eric, what's going on, man?
Doing all right tonight. Doing all right. Glad to have some more peeps here to share the wealth, because I'm kind of an introvert. One suggestion for the training camp extravaganza. I think every year we do it, we should add a new word into it. Like it should be the Commanders Declassified Training Camp Happy Time Extravaganza. And then just a suggestion.
All right. Well, maybe training camp Festivus or something like that. We'll see how it goes.
For the rest of us.
Brian, what's up, man?
What's going on? This is the third one, second for me, but first for Josh Harris. So I'm excited. I'm excited for everyone to be here and to talk.
Yeah, man. And the bleachers at training camp, it's their first appearance there as well. And
it
feels like such a silly thing to not have had before, especially if you've been out to Ashburn. It's hot, and you're just standing there in tall grass. So I'm glad they cleaned that up, man. Shout out to Josh Harris. Let's say what's up to Jesse from Bleeding Burgundy. What's up, Jesse?
What's going on? I appreciate you having me, fellas. Man, it's a fun time in Commanderland right now. I tell you what, even though I wasn't there, I felt the excitement like scrolling through Twitter. Man, I'm pumped about the season. I'm totally excited and ready to rock and roll. Training camp starts tomorrow, guys. Can you believe it?
Getting real. And you've heard Jesse on here 2 or 3 times, so he's a repeat offender here with us, and we always appreciate him stopping through. And, Mike from Southwest, a.k.a. from Mike from the Eddie and Mike podcast. They do a great show. They cover all things DC sports, not just the Commanders. Mike, what's happening?
What's popping, y'all? I'm so excited for the season. I tried to act chill about it, but I'm like very excited.
Yeah. He's on level 10. That's right. Mike has been here mad times. I think they even hosted a show without us one time. So we always appreciate Mike. Eddie's going to be on in a minute. He's taking care of some business. He'll be here. We got a first timer in the house. Everybody say what's up to Commander Zoo. What is going on, Zoo?
How's it going, guys? I've been smiling since Thursday. It hasn't and I'm talking to my favorite fan-run podcast. So
awesome.
Great times.
Man, we appreciate it. Zoo's always really active on Twitter, always has great thoughts. Make sure you go follow him. Give out your Twitter handle, too, while you're here.
It's Zoo5, so that's Z followed by 5 U's, and then the number 5 at the end. And if you ever want to hear me talk, 323 with Reed Murphy is where I guest to talk about Commanders football, and Animation Deliberation is the show that I run. So,
yeah, man, look at. And not to be confused with Mr. Who Won, No. All right, let's jump into some training camp talk, man. Obviously, the big topic is Sam Howell, quarterback, right? And I'm gonna go to our guest first. Jesse, QB1, is that locked down all through training camp with Sam Howell?
I mean, unless he just forgets the playbook and craps the bed, yes, man, it has to be. I mean, this is this coaching staff's chance to try to impress Josh Harris and the new ownership group. I don't see how Brissett could beat him out. This is it. Yes, Sam Howell's he's QB1. I just don't see it any other way.
Yeah. Mike, you agree with that, man? Or you got a little Brissett fever going on here?
Nah, coincidentally, I was just listening to Ron's press conference before I came on, and the way he's talking, it's like it's Sam's job to lose. He said if Sam get the messing up, Brissett maybe can step in to help elevate the team, but based on what Rivera's saying, it's Sam's job to lose.
Okay. Zoo, are you happy with that decision?
Oh, I'm stoked for it. I think that he's just raw talent that has finally gotten a little bit of exposure in that last game against Dallas, and they just want to ride that high. There's no reason so far for him to lose it, and if we can give Dwayne Haskins 4 games before throwing Kyle Allen in, then Sam Howell definitely deserves 4 games before even considering Brissett.
Okay, I like that. Eric, what does losing the job mean for Sam Howell during training camp? You think?
It means he is a disaster. There's just it's not going to happen. It's so unlikely. I won't say it's not going to happen because we found out with this team anything can happen. There's just no upside to not giving Sam Howell a chance to start the season this year. Like as many good vibes are surrounding the organization right now, there is like you just can't. There's no better way to take the wind out of the sails of the high that we're running on right now than starting Jacoby Brissett week one. Nothing against Jacoby Brissett, but if he's your week one starter, you are just telling the fan base that you're committed to going 8-9. He's, Sam, we don't know, right? Sam could very well take us to 3-14. Who knows at this point? But there's the air of mystery around it. I mean, you know exactly what you have in Jacoby Brissett. You have a steady veteran guy who's going to get you through games, not going to win any for you, not going to lose too many for you, but it's just there's no reason to start him at the beginning of the season with so much change already here, with a brand new offensive coordinator, brand new ownership team. Magic Johnson's here, and then we're not going to start Jacoby Brissett unless Sam Howell just forgets how to play. Like if he comes out looking like Matt Corral did last preseason, then Jacoby Brissett's going to start. But like outside of that, I just don't see him any way he loses the job if he's healthy through preseason.
Brian, Eric said something interesting, but when it comes to just the momentum going into week one, right? How important is Sam Howell having a good training camp to that week one momentum in your mind?
Oh, it's very important, right? He has everything in front of him, right? You've got a whole team, coaching staff, players, everybody is now focused on football, right? We don't have to worry about the ownership. We don't have to worry about any off-field investigation. It's just football. It's the week one opponent. It's the Cardinals. It's whatever preseason games we got. They're just focused on that. And Sam Howell, if he can get through these practices, the training camp, the joint practices, and he continues to progress and looks good, he is going to come into week one with so much momentum. We heard Jason Wright say that the week one game is trending towards being a sellout. It probably might be a sellout now. I saw today that there's like 10,000 tickets already gone for the training camp practices, which is wild. That would just mean so much for everything to, for once, for us, work right for a change, right? We experience everything going wrong. But if all of that momentum, if he utilizes it and takes it and seizes it and come week one, puts it to good use, I mean, that could just be, it would be an amazing thing. But he's got to do it though. We can't, as much as I may like him, I can't help him. He's got to do it himself. He's got to, grab the bull by the horn, so to speak. And he's got to really kind of make everything come together during these practices.
Absolutely. I'm going to bring in Eddie from Eddie and Mike. We just talked about him. Welcome, Eddie. What's going on, man?
What's up, Eddie?
What's up, everybody? Thanks for having me.
Bama.
Honored to be here.
Eddie.
Cheers.
What do you want to see from Howell at training camp this year?
I want to see him be willing to take chances, but calculated ones, or as best as he can for someone in his situation. I want to see someone who, God, Mike and I were just talking about this. I want to be brief. I feel like there's a false narrative with the whole leadership thing, because if he was really killing it, they'd say he's really killing it. What do they keep saying? Oh, he's a leader. He's a leader. He's a leader. Okay, well, I do want to see that from him as well. But just consistency and a willingness to take some shots down the field, trusting in his teammates. Not much. Again, he's in a unique situation, so I want to ease him in. Granted, we do need him to kind of like be ahead of the curve.
Yeah, I can dig it. I'm going to bring in Phil from the Command This podcast. He's a real vocal guy, has real strong opinions. What's up, Phil?
Fashionably late as always.
Hey, tell me how Sam
Howell
Howell could potentially blow it in training camp, if you think it's even possible to do.
I mean, it's possible. It's possible he could blow it. To be honest, I think that the only way Sam Howell blows it is if somehow he's just not grasping the offense. If he's not getting what Bieniemy's laying down and he's not picking it up, that's blowing it, But hopefully with them having a full off season, mini camps, everything else, he's doing so. And on all reports say that he is. But, I mean, if he fails to do so, that's how he's going to blow it. Because I think the offense will be tailored to fit him. Yep. So he should pick it up. So the only way that this doesn't happen is if he just completely fails to grasp the concepts of this offense.
I dig it, man. And I got our guy Rashad, the future of DC Sports Radio. You've heard him on here. I can't even count the number of times he's been on here.
We got a Brady Bunch view. I'm happy now.
Well, it really is. It's 9 people in this shot right now.
Hey, Rashad, Eric Bieniemy's here. It's a new day on offense, really a new day for the organization. But, like, what are you most excited about with Eric Bieniemy coming in?
I feel like we actually get a chance to get shots down the field, because I feel like even though we had shot plays, Scott Turner was more like a side-to-side guy, like motion side-to-side guy. I feel like Bieniemy is just going to give Sam a chance to really just let it go, because you have 3 guys who run basically 4-4s and can beat most corners down the field. And if you think Sam really has that arm talent, why not let him show it? And I think I think Eric will be the one to actually give him that chance.
Definitely not Scott. No way.
Definitely not. No.
What's it, Jesse? The biggest difference between Scott Turner last year and Eric Bieniemy this year, what do you think it is?
Even though Eric Bieniemy hasn't been a full-time play caller, I think he's going to have a little bit more confidence, and he's learned under the tutelage of Andy Reid. I hear a lot of people talking about, want to see this offense be aired out, and I actually believe this is going to be a more run-focused offense, and I think they're going to play off the run. And Scott Turner's problem was he drew up good plays, but he just didn't know how to call plays, and it really shot himself in the foot in the red zone. And I think Eric Bieniemy is going to call. I mean, you can't get much worse than Scott Turner calling plays in the red zone last year. I think that's where you're going to see the difference, because we were able to move the ball. Even if the defense kind of knew what was coming most of the time last year. And, he's going to focus on getting the playmakers, getting the ball in the playmakers' hands. And I think that's going to be a lot different than what Turner did. Turner just wanted his play, how or Heineke or whoever was behind center, just to run the play. And I don't think Turner was worried about who was in the lineup at the time, if you guys know what I'm talking about. But I think Bieniemy is really going to focus on who's actually out on the field.
Yeah, that makes sense. Mike, I see you nod your head saying facts and all this stuff with Jesse's talking, man. Answer that for me, too. What are you most excited about with Bieniemy as opposed to having Scott Turner here?
I mean, piggybacking off of what Jesse said, it's the common sense that I feel like Bieniemy's going to bring, as well as just the overall feel for the game that I feel like Scott Turner didn't have. I was thinking about it earlier. Like, it was plenty of times. The game that frustrated me the most last year, and I know y'all remember, the Titans game. They got the ball all the way down to the 1 or 2 yard line and could not get across that end zone. Now, imagine seeing scenarios like that over the past 3 seasons. And I just feel like when Bieniemy, if we cross that 5 yard line, it's getting in the end zone. Mm-hmm. I can never say that confidently with Scott Turner.
Yeah, we don't have to imagine that scenario the last 3 seasons because we lived it. Nothing to imagine.
Drew, I'm gonna throw it to you. What's a bigger impact this year? The upgrade on offensive coordinator or the upgrade or at quarterback? What do you think?
I want to say it's the upgraded offensive coordinator, because despite what people think about Taylor Heineke, he was able to make things happen. And I think with better direction in regards to being able to adjust to what a defense is doing and actually use your running backs, I feel like he could have been a lot more successful. I stand by the fact that instead of trading for Carson Wentz, we should have given Heineke an off season and, saved up for a quarterback. People think I'm crazy for that, but I really do feel like that it was the direction of Scott Turner that kind of held us back, because if we were able to give Terry McLaurin 1,000+ receiving yards for, was it 2-3 years straight with wow, I'm forgetting the dude's name before Dwayne Haskins.
Alex
Smith.
Smith.
Case Keenum.
Case Keenum, thank you.
Case
If we
Keenum.
can do that much with Case Keenum, one leg Alex Smith, Kyle Allen, you could go down the whole list, but like it was a matter of fact that there was just very little ability to adjust, and we have the weapons, so it's just a matter of getting the quarterback to be competent. We just need average.
And now you're talking Eric's language, because Eric was like really on board with the Heineke situation. Eric, how much of an upgrade from Heineke do you think Howell can be this year?
So Howell is, the biggest knock on Taylor Heineke was his physical limitations. Play style wise, Howell is more similar to Heineke than a lot of people maybe want to acknowledge. He's got that mentality, that gunslinger mentality, but he's not limited. He's got the arm to make some of those throws that Heineke, couldn't quite make, and ended up falling short, getting intercepted, getting Terry killed. But, Howell's got more of an arm, so he's basically like the Mecca Heineke. Hopefully his decision making is a little bit better, because Heineke, Taylor would just lose his mind sometimes. So hopefully we can, Howell doesn't have that. But I mean, if you look at the play style, I mean, the mobility, the improvisation, the gunslinger mentality, the forgetting mistakes. I mean, you see all that with Sam Howell, but the physical limitations are not there, other than height, which I don't think is a huge deal, because he's 6 feet 6'1". He's tall enough to play quarterback. He's not 6'6" or whatever, but Carson Wentz was, and look at that. So yeah, I think Howell is an upgrade of Heineke just because of the arm talent. So I'm excited to see what Howell can do in this offense, and hopefully Eric Bieniemy can get the most out of him.
Yeah, and I'm going to finish up this quarterback conversation with Brian. Brian, how much do you think Bieniemy is going to tailor the offense to Howell versus Bieniemy just bringing a system and expecting how to operate within it?
Everything that we have heard and seen and read about Eric Bieniemy, one of the things, besides him being loud, is flexibility. He is going to absolutely 100% tailor this offense to Sam Howell, because you have to, right? You have to do that to be successful.
Playing to their strengths.
Yeah. How many years have we seen square peg, round hole here in Washington, whether it's offense or defense? It just doesn't work. You can't expect guys to do things that they're not good at, or that they struggle with, or that's not their best thing. You're going to get bad results. You're going to get limited results. So Eric Bieniemy is that. He is going to change everything, adapt it. He's going to find out what they can do. He's going to stress them here in training camp. So you're going to see probably sometimes where Hal might throw some interceptions, but he's got to find out, what can he do? Hey, are you struggling to throw it over the middle? Maybe we take some of that out, and we use some of our bigger targets, right? All of our tight ends are like 6'8", 6'6". Let's use those guys over the middle. So he's going to find ways to accentuate their strengths and minimize or hide their weaknesses. And that's what an offensive coordinator is for. That's what a coach is for. I mean, we just haven't had some of this common sense approach to coaching. We've gotten so used to just Scott Turner not taking some of those things into consideration. And we're going to see it now. I can't wait for it, because, we could have done that, and we could have been so much more productive had we been doing that the last couple of years.
Yeah, no doubt, man. All right, let's talk running backs. Phil, I'm going to start with you. Brian Robinson, is his spot as RB1 safe and secured?
For the time being.
Okay.
He goes into camp as RB1. It's not, I'll put it this way, Sam Howell's job is a lot more secure than his, despite what some people say. I think Sam Howell's job is more secure than his right now. And it's really because of the fact that when you go out and you have a running back that you were high on and was a focal point of your offense for a key stretch, and then suddenly you go out and draft another one that's got, high value to it. You still have Antonio Gibson out there who is wanting a payday. He's coming up on that as well. So that's a RB room that is going to be full of hungry dudes, all wanting that number one spot. So I don't necessarily think that his job is as safe, because if someone comes out the gate just blowing everyone away, they're going to give the job to them. At the same time, what is RB1 in this offense? Because with all this running back talent, you're going to try to get the ball to everyone. So RB1 may get a little greater share of the carries, but they're not necessarily going to get, you're not going to have a 300 carry back in this room. That's just, we don't have that setup. So I think everybody's going to get a chance to eat, but it's whoever eats first and eats the most is going to be the one that gets it.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. Eddie, and we got Dev here as well from Command This. We're going to get right to you, Dev. Give me a minute here. Eddie, Antonio Gibson, what do you expect his usage to be like this year?
I expect him to get actually a heavy amount of usage. I think getting back to Gibson in a second, but I think the Robinson thing, he and Sam Howell, really they go as our offensive line goes. Like as much as Bieniemy is going to probably dial up the right type of plays to fit their style to put them in a situation to succeed, I think it's going to really be dependent on the O-line. Having said that, I think we're going to see Gibson line up everywhere. You're going to see him get the ball in a variety of ways. I think that plays to his strengths, like I was just talking about Bieniemy doing. So that's what I expect. Kind of a, I know it's like a cliche, but the thunder and lightning kind of thing. Robinson pounding the rock, and then Gibson kind of getting it in space, almost like maybe a Darren Sproles or someone like that. Excuse me.
Okay. Yeah, that would be pretty exciting if we could figure out a way to make our offense.
Hey, I'm hoping. Hey, also real quick though, did you guys know Brian Robinson was shot? Did y'all hear about that?
I heard that somewhere.
There's some people who don't know
Hey,
that.
look,
That is story.
Don't know
Brian
that.
Robinson was
I think I
shot.
saw it on the news today.
I was waiting on somebody to break out
That story
the
really
ghetto.
got buried by the media. I don't know. Like they
I
just
was waiting on
refused to
somebody to
talk
break
about
out
it.
the ghetto mom screaming.
I'm
"No,
sorry,
no,
Ali.
baby!"
My bad.
You know, ain't nobody.
I'm sorry.
Hey, Rashad, which running back are you most excited about?
Honestly, I can say probably Antonio Gibson, because I feel like he was underused last year, and I feel like Brian Robinson is a rookie, but we know what Brian Robinson is. Like Brian Robinson is going to be this exact same bruising power running back for most of his career. Antonio Gibson is still a what if, because we saw from 2020 to 2021 what it was, and then last year just fell off. And now you have a coach who isn't going to, like Phil says, not going to be a 300 carry back here. We saw them win a Super Bowl with Pacheco and McKinnon. Like it's the same kind of style. It's just bigger bodies. So I'm more excited to see what he does with Antonio Gibson.
Me too, man. Dev, man, welcome aboard, man. Question for you, man. Which running back is going to lead us in touchdowns this year?
Gibson, I think Gibson wasn't he in the top 5 or 6 last year in touchdowns? Gibson.
No, man, our running backs didn't have any touchdowns last year.
Three rushing touchdowns last year.
Yeah, it was.
I think it was year before last.
Oh, okay. Year before last.
Yeah.
I just got off work, but I'm going with Gibson, man. I think he'll be more active in the offense. I actually think he's going to be running back number 1. I know everybody's saying Robinson's going to be it, but I think it's going to be Gibson. I think Gibson's going to be the guy till he fumbles.
Talk about it until he fumbles.
Don't put that out there, man.
Well, the thing is, though, is like nobody knows what Bieniemy's run game is going to look like. That's the big mystery, because they didn't even work on it in OTAs. So it's a complete mystery until, we only have the Kansas City offense to really go on. And they had Pacheco as kind of their Brian Robinson workhorse back. They had, I see like Gibson in that Jerick McKinnon type role, or Clyde Edwards-Helaire type role where he's coming out of the backfield, getting the ball in space. That's ideally how I would use him. But we just don't know yet. We don't know what Bieniemy is going to do with the run game. So any one of those guys, Christian Rodriguez is Bieniemy's guy. He could be RB1, even though he showed up to OTAs looking fatter than a first grade pencil. It's like,
I think he might be fullback. Honestly, we don't know. We don't know if Robinson. We don't know if Bieniemy is going to use a fullback. We don't know.
Yeah.
The guy was kind of I live in Kentucky. I'm not a UK fan, but I have managed to look at a couple of their games. They kind of use him like it's kind of a Swiss Army knife type of player in their offense. He was their best player, man. I know their quarterback went to the Titans and all that, but their running back was their best player, man, last year on their offense.
Yeah, we're gonna see.
You can move a pile.
Eric's right. Yeah, we didn't see any of it in the
we
offseason.
probably won't see any of it at all. He probably never played.
Yeah.
Or
fullback. I see your comment, Zoo, of how is Mecca Heineke than Gibson is Mecca McKissick.
That's
explain
right.
that.
That's what I've been saying.
He's got all the speed and ability. He just was not utilized correctly. So if he's the check down guy in open space, I feel like he's going to be having a lot more of those Bills highlights moments.
Chris Thompson,
230 pounds.
Chris Thompson-ish.
Bigger though. But he's like a bigger Chris Thompson.
Hey, you getting people excited with that one though, Dev?
Chris Wallace Thompson.
Chris Wallace Thompson. So I want to go through one by one. I want to get you guys' biggest offensive concern going into training camp. Jesse, I'm gonna start with you. I'm just gonna go in order on my screen. Jesse, what do you got?
Not all have the same one?
I mean, we probably all have the same one.
It might be a collective, but I want to see.
That's the offensive line. We just don't know what it's going to be. I mean, yeah, we got 4 new players in different positions. I mean, not all new players, but who's going to win this battle between Paul and Charles for the left guard, and how is Cosme going to do at right guard, and what are we going to get from Wiley? He gave up a good amount of sacks last year. That's probably the most concerned. I'm more concerned about the offensive line than I am about quarterback. I should probably kick myself for saying that for this team. But yeah, that concerns me the most. I mean, that has everything to do with how this offense is going to run, in my opinion.
Okay. And I should have known most people were going to say that. I think that's probably Brian, Zoo, let me see, Eddie, Dev, all you guys. Eric, are you in agreement with that?
I can't be now because all these guys are. I got to be. I mean, yeah, I don't see how it could not be the biggest concern. Tight end is another one. Not as big as offensive line, but since everybody else said offensive line, I'll just point out that Logan Thomas, coming off last year where he was very injured all year. He had one really productive season his first year here. He, fell off before he got injured and has just stayed injured the last 2 years. We'll see if he's got anything left in the tank. Armani Rogers gone for it was Rogers, right? Yeah, Armani Rogers gone for the season already. And then so we've just got a lot of unproven guys back there behind Logan Thomas who may or may not be the real deal. So we'll have to see this year. And I've said this on our podcast before. Don't expect Logan Thomas or any tight end on this roster to get Travis Kelce type usage just because Eric Bieniemy's here. Like they used Kelce, and he's Kansas City's best player. You get their best player of the ball, right? I mean, Terry McLaurin is going to get the ball a lot for this team, as he should. So I don't see heavy tight end usage, but they will be a factor in can they hold up all season? What kind of production can we get?
Absolutely. You nailed it. Jesse, I know you got to go. Tell people where they can find you and find your work, man.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Jesse's24, and then we're starting now to go weekly live on Fridays at 5 p.m. at the Bleeding Burgundy podcast on YouTube and all podcast platforms. I just want to bounce something off of what Eric just said. You're saying that none of these tight ends are going to be Kelce, and I totally agree. But that's where I think Gibson comes in, because those targets that Kelce was getting, I think Gibson is going to play a big role in the passing game with this offense. And he can take some of those targets that you saw with Kansas City that Kelce got.
That's actually pretty intriguing. Yeah, that's really something to think about. Mike, do you see that coming to fruition?
Yeah, I see you, Jesse. I guess so, but going back to your question, your original question about the biggest concern, I get it. Like, I truly get it. Everybody's concerned with the O-line. And just follow me for a second. I am not saying that Washington has the caliber of players that the Bengals have. However, what I am saying is that twice in my life, I've seen offensive lines that should not have gotten to the Super Bowl or win. It happened in 2007, I think, with the Steelers when they beat the Cardinals, and that offensive line was trash. Ben was running for his life that entire game. and the Bengals 2 seasons ago.
Yep.
If their offensive line blocks for one more second, Chase cooked Ramsey on that last play. That would have been a touchdown, and the Bengals beat the Rams in the Super Bowl. So I'm saying all that to say this offensive line is better than what the Commanders had last year. And I feel like Scott Turner was the reason the offensive line didn't perform as well as they should. Just think again. I only can use what we've seen before as evidence. The second Giants game, the Sunday night game. How many times did Thibodeau get in the backfield before they started chipping them? And one of those sacks led into a fumble 6.
Yep.
How many points did we lose that game by? 5. So I'm just saying, I understand everyone's concerned about the offensive line, but I'm tired of people acting like you can't do well with an average to below average offensive line when I've seen offensive coordinators get the most out of the trashiest offensive lines. So, and that's what I'm saying. My biggest concern is Bieniemy. Can he get the most out of the talent that he has? Like I said, we've seen Scott Turner for the last 3 seasons not accomplish that. So the only question I have is, can Bieniemy do what Scott Turner couldn't and get the best out of the players that he has? Hope the answer is yes.
I'm gonna go to our resident O lineman, Brian. Brian, I see you over there nodding, smiling. What do you think, man?
I think Mike has a lot of great points, and to help Mike and to give some credence to what he's saying is we talked about on our podcast right back in when we were covering the OTAs. One of the days that they had out there, at practice, they call it team blitz, right? The defense is blitzing every play, every snap, and the offense has to find a way to block it and get their plays off. One of the things that I was listening to at that time was Logan Paulson, and he said, during the Scott Turner practices, it was basically a no-go. The offense could not move during team blitz. It just, everything was a sack, pick, fumble, whatever. They could not move. And the offense could actually move. And it wasn't because, Sam Howell's amazing or anything like that. They actually had a plan. They knew where to block. They knew how to make adjustments and pick up guys who weren't blocked. They could slide protection, do those things. They actually had a plan. And if you can imagine, when you don't have a plan, we leave guys unblocked, like Kayvon Thibodeau on the 5-yard line to crush Heineke and pick up the ball right there. And, so from at least that standpoint, it tells you we have a plan. Will the plan work? I hope so. We'll find out on Sundays this fall. But we have a plan now for the first time. And that, while that is something small and it seems kind of silly, I mean, the baby steps for us because we never had one the past 3 years when it came to the blocking scheme. So I think Bieniemy is absolutely up to the task. And hopefully our offensive line stays healthy enough to execute his plan.
Hey, Eddie, tell them why we're not taking baby steps this year. We're doing a long jump, triple jump, all that. We're making major strides, right, Eddie?
I certainly hope so. Actually, Mike and I yesterday on our podcast, I kind of mentioned this. It's like, look, man, I'm so excited about new ownership and the direction that we've been headed in as far as the way we've acquired players, the way we're building talent. There are so many great things that we are finally starting to do that I think everybody's been dying for us to do for a long time. Having said that, we're still a DC team. Do you know what I mean? Like the whole moniker, like this is what they've done to me. So like, I don't know if that makes sense, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did. I mean, the everything's there, like that whole, what do you call it? The script, like the setting, everything is there. Everybody's been calling us trash for a long time. You don't got a name. You don't got an owner. You don't got a this or that. We've got talent. We've got a guy who can organize that talent. It looks like now. It could happen. Like, it's like angels in the outfield. Remember that little kid? It could happen.
Yeah.
That's the best I can give you. But like with his optimism too, and truly believing in it.
Yeah. Rashad, are you excited about everything we got going on right now?
Yeah, I'm just excited to be in a new direction, a better direction, like
a new hope.
Literally do hope. Like my name is my name, Damaged DC fan, for a reason. I was born this is gonna age me, but I was born the year Schneider owned the team. I haven't seen anything in pretty much my lifetime. Like, this is positive.
Jesus, you were young. I got my driver's license that year.
What year was that?
99, right? Yeah.
Dang, I had my first kid in 99, bro.
This is what I'm saying.
Same here.
For this generation,
Dad,
this is the most positive thing we've seen in a very long time. This year could go however it could go. I hope it goes great. But the fact that man actually sold the team and we're actually making progress and looking like an NFL franchise again, it feels good. Like, I wore this, I felt good to wear this Commander shirt today. I usually stay away from all my gear because it's just been rough. Now, why not? Just throw it on.
Dan Snyder could have sold the team to Al Qaeda and fans would be
quite literally.
That's how bad he was. Like, he could have literally sold it to anybody.
Bruh.
Live could have on us, and I would have wore this shirt. Like, it doesn't.
Hey, that's great. Dev and Phil, man, I'm coming back to you on command this, guys. I'm going to go back to the offensive line. Phil, which one of those linemen makes you the most nervous of the 5 that we're going to have starting potentially?
Ooh, well, Notwell's been cut, so I don't have to worry about him.
He's not going to say Cosme. That's his buddy.
I like Cosme. I just wish he'd be healthy. I think Cosme is plenty fine when he's healthy.
Garbage.
The center Gates, that gives me the most caution, and a lot of that is because of the fact that, especially in this day and age of an NFL where the center's ability to communicate with the rest of the line is so important. And I'll preface it with this. I think the offense that we're going to be running is going to help the offensive line because of the fact that it's going to be a lot more quick strike offense. You're going to see it's West Coast style. It's a lot of those quick slants, quick outs, swings to the running back, a lot of stuff like that, which is going to get the ball out sooner. So they don't have to sustain blocks for as long as the traditional Air Coryell 5-step, 7-step drop. But whenever you have a new center and new other offensive linemen, that's where I get a little nervous. Not because I don't think the guy can play, but I think it's because the communication, being able to communicate, what the center sees as far as where defenses line up and everything else, adjusting who's going to block who on different plays. That's where I get a little nervous, but that's what camp's for as well. But some centers really good at doing that no matter who's playing next to them. Others, not so much. They have to have that comfort level with the other guys. They know how to communicate with the other guys on that line. So that's where I have the most concern. I'm not as concerned as some others. I mean, I still think it's the biggest concern on the offensive line, or on the offense is the offensive line. I'm not as concerned as some, but if I'm to pick one guy that I'm going to look at and be like, you need to step up big time, it's him.
Man, it's an easy answer, man. Sadiq Charles is trash. That's an easy answer, man.
Here we go.
I'm not even.
Y'all about to hear.
I was actually upset they cut Norwell. I was like, what? Sadiq Charles is going to start? Like, look, I feel like my hands even got palsy when I'm like, what? I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Listen, Dev, ain't even going to hold you.
Charles gave you palsy hands.
Man, that's no way. There's not one lineman outside Leno that would start on any other team in the NFL, bro. They're all garbage. Every one of them are trash except Leno. And he's just good. He's just okay. The rest of them dudes is garbage, man. So we had 2 all-pro linemen and a Pro Bowl lineman 3 years ago, bro. This was reality. We're the worst line
and we
in the NFL, bro. The worst line in the NFL.
I have yet to hear one thing you said that's not true, though.
And they fired the coaches. They fired the coaches that were good at coaching these guys, man. They fired those guys. Like, this is crazy as hell.
During Rivera's press conference, Dev, he mentioned Sadiq Charles 5 times.
Man, I knew as soon as they said
5 times he had mentioned him.
I knew as soon as
Does it have to be any press conference?
Everybody got on Twitter was like, Noah Wells gone, he's gone. I'm like, dude, That's like firing George Bush and then realizing who the vice president is. Oh no. You know what I'm saying? That's how you feel. You know, everybody hates Biden. Just think if he lost his job, we'll be in charge.
That's true.
No. That's how you feel when Norwell's gone. Like, yeah, Norwell's gone, but oh no.
Hey, maybe Chris Paul steps up though. Maybe Chris Paul
Man,
steps
that-
up. to
There
become-
ain't never
right
been
direction.
one Chris Paul play good in the playoffs. What do you think another one's going to be able to do, man?
That is true.
I'm not with it, man. Chris Paul's been
Does
on team
Chris
3 years.
Paul play guard?
How long Chris Paul been on team? 2 years? 2 3 years?
This
He
is
ain't
his
never-
second year.
He couldn't beat no out for the job when he was here, bro. And y'all hated that
Well, no,
guy.
Paul was a rookie last year, and he was a mid-round rookie.
I
So
don't care what he was. Well, he was
So-
garbage.
so
If you
let me
can't
ask
beat
you
Noel or Sadiq Charles out, you are garbage, bro.
Let me ask the room this because we just brought up the name that I wanted to bring up. All we heard leaking out of camp or leaking out of the organization was John Allen and Deron Payne are just going to the coaches saying, "You got to play Chris Paul. He's better than anybody else you're putting up there." And then we hear these press conferences, and the only name we're hearing is Sadiq Charles. I want to know.
You gotta say it
Did
because you got
Chris
rid of
Paul
Trent Williams for him.
send pictures of himself to Ron's wife or something? I mean, what did he do? That
The other
he's in
way,
this
Sadiq Charles
perpetual
has dirt.
doghouse.
Sadiq Charles.
I think he thinks he's getting the 38-year-old point guard at guard. He's seeing the guards
Yeah.
wrong. He read the sheet wrong. Yeah, I
That
think
is
that's what it
true.
really
What's
is.
going
I think he's
on,
getting the
man?
6 foot,
Yeah, I saw that
175-pound point guard.
Hey, do not drug test in the NFL no more. That's all I found out about this. I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
We're
To
gonna,
be fair, Rivera dropped Paul's name at least once in the press conference.
there you go.
When he
There
said
you
it,
go.
I
It really
felt- I
comes
felt- I
down-
felt like Soldier Boy when they brought up Drake or whatever. Drake, Chris Paul, Sadiq Charles,
Zoo, what do you got, man?
I think with Chris Paul, he has like all the athletic ability, but they're still worried about the football IQ and getting everything together. And now we're going from Scott Turner's offense to Eric Bieniemy, so he's like relearning it. So if that was the issue last year that he wasn't picking up on the concepts, and now he has to learn a whole new playbook and isn't strongest in the mental part of the game, that could be what's pushing Sadiq Charles, because that's all we've heard from him too, is like he's athletic, but then he gets hurt and then he doesn't understand the concept. So it's like, let's give Sadiq his last shot because I believe he's entering a contract year.
Zoo being nice. He's really saying Sadiq Charles a dumbass is why he been on the field. I mean,
But he's smarter than
He's saying
Chris
Paul's
Paul.
a dumbass.
Right.
I don't know anything about
is it
Chris
Ron
Paul other than
O'Loughlin?
people say he's good, but I've literally never seen that dude on the field, so I don't know if he's good or not.
Brandon
Like
Sheriff was,
the
though.
one game
Week
that
17.
we've seen, the
He
one
played
game
week
that we've
17.
seen-
Oh, did he? Well, I guess I didn't hear his name called, so I suppose he did fine.
He
Well,
actually
that-
did well.
that-
He did pretty well.
He didn't
Well,
get
and
he
the-
didn't get
and the
thrown at
Browns
Sam Howell.
game?
No, the Cowboys game.
Cowboys game.
Okay.
Oh, so
I'm pretty
18.
18. I'm
Okay.
still getting used to this.
Hold on.
I was
I
gonna
gotta push back on this. Chris Paul played well in the Browns game. Like if you look at, or in the
Cowboys game.
same Browns game, the Cowboys game. Like if you watch that game, he did really good when the defensive tackle was head up on him and all he had to do was block straight ahead. But when that defensive tackle slanted down inside or he went across his outside shoulder, he couldn't handle that quickness. And that guy was in the backfield. We saw it multiple times that game. So yeah, Chris Paul is a big, strong guy, but he can't handle the NFL quickness of those defensive tackles from the Cowboys, let alone some of these other teams that are out there. So I don't think that he's ready yet. And I mean, this is classic Ron, depending on 7th round picks, injured players along the offensive line. Nick Gates, Sadiq Charles, and Sam Cosmi, all injured players, and he's basing his whole season around injured players.
Watch what's going to happen. I'm going to tell y'all right now, if y'all want to play some bets on this, Daniels is going to be moved to guard, bro. He's going to be like, I think Daniels is a guard. I really do. He's going to say, I really do, after he says a statement every time.
He will.
Watch, I'm telling y'all, man.
He really does.
Be a guard. Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah. We're going to go rapid fire here. Okay. I'm going to give you some topics. Just give me your responses to it. I'm going to start with Zoo and work my way around the board. Zoo, what do you need to see from Chase Young out of camp this year?
High energy.
That's it?
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much that I can believe at a training camp because all these hype videos are going to get me super excited, and then game one, I'm going to be like, where the hell did all that go? So he needs to have confidence in the leg. He needs to have that bend. He needs to be able to, just showed that he's got the stamina to keep up with it. And this is his first full off season with Skanina and Kerrigan. So if he hasn't learned any moves with his hands by now, then that's going to be a huge problem. So I guess if I do need to say one thing, I need to see him use his hands a lot more.
I like it. Eric, give me the other defensive end, Montez Sweat. What do you need to see out of Sweat this game?
Just stay healthy, man. Montez Sweat's going to go off this year. That guy's trying to get paid. He's going to have a high teens sack year, and I'm calling it right now. Montez Sweat's going to be a monster. So just get out of camp healthy. That's all I want to see from Montez Sweat.
Let's talk about it. Brian, Cody Barton. What do you want to see from Cody this year out of camp?
Stay healthy, play middle linebacker so Jamin Davis doesn't have to play middle linebacker. That's all I need him to do.
Okay. Eddie, Quan Martin. What do we got to see from Quan in camp?
I'd like to see him play with a level of confidence where he's not moving half speed. You know what I mean? A lot of these rookies, they're adjusting not just to the talent around them, but to the way the game is played, offensive schemes, etc. And so a lot of times you're kind of like half moving, half stepping, if you will. So just like to see him kind of have a grasp of the game and play with confidence.
I can dig it, man. Mike, let's talk about Derek Forrest. He had a really strong year last year. What do you need to see from him at camp this year?
Consistency and just overall maturity. I guess that's a better word. Can he be consistent? Can he be mature? I really love what he did last year. Can you follow up on that? Can you elevate yourself? Can you become what Cam Curl is on the team right now? That safety that we all know that kills, but the rest of the league going to find out.
And don't hurt any of our offensive players because dude hits hard, man. I don't want to keep everybody safe. Rashad, I'm going to give you Jamin Davis. What do you want to see from Jamin Davis this year?
I just hope that we see him not look lost anymore, because I feel like we've been through 2 years of just like, we know he has the athletic talent, but it's like it's been a step from year 1 to year 2, but we took him in the first round. This is year 3. Like, you kind of have to take that jump at some point, or you wasted a first round pick on a linebacker. Like, if he doesn't take the 3rd-year jump, I think it's going to be interesting to see what we do with the linebacker position, because we're already thin there, and if he doesn't take that jump, it's just going to be a gaping hole in the middle of the defense. Because we have everything else. Even the secondary is good now. I just don't trust the linebacking core quite yet. So if he can take that jump and make me trust it, we probably have a top 3 to 5 defense in the league. But I want to take that jump.
Yeah, definitely. Dev, Benjamin St. Juice. What do you got to see from our guy BSJ this year?
Man, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to start. Like, I guess your boy had the safety we drafted in the 2nd round, right?
Quan.
Yeah. If he starts, where do you put Juice at? In the slot? Where's Juice play? Like, in this situation, because they're going to start with 3 safeties, probably.
Yeah.
Just kind of wondering, like, who's the odd man out? Who's the odd man going to be out in the corner or safety? One of those guys is not going to play. And I'm going to guess, Brandon. I'm going to guess that Juice is going to play, because 2nd-round picks never work out in Washington. I don't know the last one that y'all know that's been good at all. There's not been one.
Andre Collins.
Yeah,
Preston
that's what I'm saying.
Smith.
That's like, I mean, how long ago was that? Preston Smith? He was just good here. I mean, to be honest, there's not been one. So I don't know, man. I guess I think Juice. I think you could say Juice was our best corner last year to some point, but then he always gets hurt at the end of the year. So I'd like to see him stay healthy for a whole season, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a strong possibility Forbes and Juice could be our corners going forward. Because isn't Fuller a free agent soon?
I think after this season, yeah. And
Right.
Phil, let's talk about Emmanuel Forbes. What do you want to see from Forbes in his rookie camp?
I need to see that college swagger. I need to see it. The same guy that gave the entire SEC fits, that fearlessness that he plays with, both against the pass and against the run. He reminds me of Dale Green, the fact that he's an undersized guy, especially in weight and he's not afraid to come up and tackle a running back. I need to see that at the pro level. I need to see that fearlessness. And you know what? If you get trucked in the process, you get up and you do it again. I do not want to see that guy get shy. Sometimes you see that with corners. They get a little hesitant. Maybe they get burnt for the first time ever because they're going up against professional receivers and they're rookies. No.
Same guy laughed at LaRon Landry when he got trucked, though. I remember that conversation.
So
you see LaRon Landry. I mean, LaRon Landry has no business getting trucked. All the stuff he's taking, he shouldn't be getting trucked by anybody.
True that.
Well, Brandon Jacobs is also 260, though.
Big guy.
Yeah.
So was Landry.
He was indeed. I want the one guy.
He was kind of big, but
yeah, no doubt. I want the one guy you guys are watching and looking out for the most at camp. Zoo, I'm gonna go back in the same order. Who are you watching the most closely at camp this year?
Can you come back to me?
Yeah, we'll come back to you. Eric, who you watching?
All right, I got a dark horse here. I got to look up his name again, actually, real quick, because I forgot it. This is a guy that we just picked up. Actually, I'm watching Joey Sly because we just brought in competition for Joey Sly.
Byron Pringle.
Competition. Yeah, no,
Byron
Pringle is the Michael Badgley is the kicker. Pringle's the kick returner.
Talking
Michael
about Casper
Badgley.
Allen?
Casper Allen, you mean Lake Seastrunk? No.
Yeah.
No, Michael Badgley, the kicker from Detroit. Washington signed him yesterday. Joey Sly has real competition this camp. Sly was a solid kicker last year, but he missed too many extra points. Don't miss extra points. Don't do it.
Can't do it.
It's an extra point. Don't do that. So yeah, I'm actually there's a kicking competition. I'm curious to watch that this year. And I'm just saying that because I'm going first and nobody else is going to pick kicker. So I'll just go ahead and do
it. Brian, who are you watching at camp this year?
Easy answer is QB, but I'm going to go Eric Bieniemy. I know he's not a player, but a lot of this stuff that we're talking about relies on Eric Bieniemy, offensive line, quarterback, the wide receivers. Are we going to win 10 games? Or are we going to win 2 games? It relies on Eric Bieniemy. If he is who we think he is, then it's going to be really, really fun. If he's not, right? If he's Scott Turner 2.0, which it just doesn't even seem possible or comprehensible.
Don't scare me like that, bro. Don't scare me like that.
But he's who I'm watching. I want to see how he's going to utilize this talent. How can he continually change it up, keep the defense, off balance a little bit? Because, hey, it's a really good defense that they're going to go up against in practice and then in those joint practices. So I really need to see what he does with his offense because he's got a big task because he's not just doing it for this team. He wants to be a head coach. Well, how are you going to do that? You've got to put the best product you can out there, and I want to see what he does with us.
Yeah, man. I think that's a great answer. Eddie, who are you keeping an eye on in camp this year?
Actually, I think probably Curtis Samuel. We paid a lot of money for him, and I think, you're going to need him to kind of really produce to a degree to kind of take some of the attention off of Terry, to kind of keep the defense honest to a degree. And, like Phil mentioned, which I agree, I think we're going to get the ball out quick. That's kind of his bread and butter, those like underneath routes and kind of being used in a similar likeness. I think him and Gibson will kind of be almost interchangeable to a degree, like in the way they're used. So Curtis
doesn't get enough attention here, man. I promise you. Mike, who's your guy?
I swear, I don't know if it's like a co-host, like what's the word? Telekinesis or whatever. Yeah, telepathy, not telepathy or whatever. But look, I got it wrote down on my paper. Where is it?
What does it say?
I'm seeing
Curtis Samuel.
It's a dark skin thing.
But no, seriously. Seriously though. I feel like he's not only like who I'm looking for at training camp, but dude might be the key to the entire season. The first time his name was brought up on this episode was when Eddie just said something about him. We didn't say anything about Curtis Samuel until then. I feel like if he can have any impact, like any impact that's noticeable, the offense is taking off next season. If he's cooking, the entire offense will cook. I promise you that. Because we know McLaurin going to do his thing. We even can kind of guess that Dotson going to do his thing. But if we can get all three to do their thing, it's on next season.
Posse 2.0. Zoo, who's your guy for camp? You ready now?
I'm stuck between two. I'm stuck between Dax Milne if he's actually going to get utilized as a wide receiver because people were fixated on him being a returner. And I'm also curious about Cody Barton because while Holcomb wasn't that bad, I think they've pretty much decided that they want a linebacker on each end with the 3-look safety in the middle of the box. So it's like I'm more curious about Barton because I want to see his awareness and his availability and his ability to get where he needs to be to stop the short game and start the runs. Holcomb could not finish those tackles, and I want to see if Cody is actually capable of, taking a man down.
Yeah, people don't or didn't recognize enough how often Holcomb did not finish the tackle or how often he finished the tackle going backwards, when he made contact with the runner. That was a very frequent issue. Rashad, who's your guy?
I can't remember who it was, but we had somebody on our guested on our pod. Maybe Dev can remember that came in and said that Cole Holcomb tackles like he's trying to protect, like he's trying to save himself.
Did you say I might remember something?
Yeah, I can't. I don't remember who it was. Said that he tackles like he's trying to defend himself.
Rashad, give me the guy. Who's your guy?
I kind of have two, but I feel like they're going to be. I'm interested to see where we put Quan Martin because, like we talked about earlier, we have 3 safeties now. Like Derek Forrest and Cam Curl were already good, and then we took him in the 2nd round. So clearly he's going to get used. So it's like if we put him in the slot, is he going to be our actual free safety? Because
name the last 2nd round pick we used, bro. You can't. Yeah, that's not.
We change coaches. We change coaches every other year too. Like it doesn't.
We Aaron Mathis for one play.
Come on, man.
I just want to see it. I just want to see it
in a decade, bro.
Hey,
man. We have had some bad luck with 2nd round picks.
No time to start. No better time to start than this year.
Bad luck will get one to have one like just disappear, like an old girl did down in Florida or Alabama, or whatever. That'd be bad luck. We ain't even getting regular luck. No one in the 2nd round plays, man. No one.
Yeah, we're here now.
Dev, who's your guy?
I'm gonna go guard, man. I just don't see it. Like I don't see. I understand what Michael's saying about how if all 3 of these quarterbacks ball out, maybe you can't do it if your quarterback's getting pancaked every time. I just don't see it, man. I don't see the offensive line doing anything. Like outside Leno, man, no one else is even serviceable. Not even serviceable, man.
That makes sense. Bill, Dax, Bill. Who's your guy?
Well, I had to respond to someone say they're watching Dax. I'm on the hashtag #AxDax train. I don't care if he is Mr. Steal Your Girl. I don't care if he is Mr. Steal Your Girl.
He's better than Diami Brown. Pull the numbers up. He's better than Diami Brown. What's he doing?
Dev's shooting violence right now, so I'm going to bring this back. I'm going to make my co-host that could not be here, Steve, very happy when I say this. Cole Turner is who I'm watching. We keep hearing, we heard about he's got fantastic hands and he's 6'7" and all this stuff. And poor Taylor Heineke managed to overthrow him and get him hurt. But nonetheless, I'm watching Cole Turner because we've seen what Kelsey could do with Eric Bieniemy. Can we get not equal production, but can we get elevated production from the tight end position with a guy like Cole Turner?
That's an important question. And shout out to Steve too. He couldn't be here, but
the next guy that Cole Turner blocks will be the first guy that Cole Turner blocks. So, I mean, right. As a tight end, you got to be able to block to get on the field, and Cole Turner cannot block anybody. So, hopefully he's fixed that because I'm curious what he can do in the passing game too. But man, they tried to put him on Trayvon Walker last year at one point.
I'm in full agreement. If Cole Turner can't hack it, just put Bates out there and let him block.
I like you. I'm a big Bates guy.
I am too.
I want more Bates. I'm a huge Bates guy.
Yep.
There's a joke in there somewhere, but I'm gonna let y'all figure it out.
The idea of Bates as an H-back.
I heard his nickname is Master.
That's what I was looking for, Eddie. Good job.
Who was asking about are we going to use a fullback, or we might use a fullback? Bates is going to be the guy that if Bieniemy says, all right, we need to put a fullback into the offense, it's going to be him, because he is a excellent run blocker.
I don't know if you believe that we put Payne back there, man. What logic do they have for doing that?
Well, not anymore. Not those 94 million.
That dude's legs are.
Yeah,
that dude's got a crazy lower half. I put him at fullback too.
Let's
going back to something real quick. I'm sorry, Ellie. Yeah. Going back to something, I wanted to piggyback on Mike real quick, because I think you asked Mike about Derek Forrest, and one thing I'm actually curious about with Derek Forrest is Derek Forrest last season was two different players. I want to see can he play well when Cam Curl is not on the field, because he was absolute garbage when Cam Curl was like Cam got everybody lined up, told him exactly what to do. He's got to take a step forward, because he was just awful last year.
Nah,
Cam
you're
wasn't there
right.
this year telling him what to do.
That Lions game from last season,
yeah.
Oh, that was awful.
But
it wasn't just Forrest. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cam Curl was like the difference maker for Derek Forrest. He's got to step up and put on his big boy pants this year.
Some great points there. My guy is Bieniemy Brown. I'm watching Bieniemy Brown at camp, man. It's year 3 now. They gave him a lot of chances early on his rookie season. Not so much last year. He had a breakout game against Tennessee, and then didn't break out anymore after that. So let's see what Bieniemy can do. It's either, hey, do something or get cut year. You know what I'm saying? And I like Bieniemy a lot, but we got to show something. I think he had 10 catches, 17 catches, or something like that last year. We got to see more. I mean, he's going to have a more defined role this year, I think, but let's see what he can do. I'm going to close it out with record predictions from each of you, updated record predictions, I should say now. So, Eric, I'm going to start with you. I think earlier in the offseason, I think you were in the 7 to 9 range. Where are you at now?
I'm going to go with what I want. I don't know what it's going to – well, no, I think it's going to be – we're going to be in the 7 to 10 win range. What I want is to either win 12 or lose 12. I don't want anything in between. I want to be good. I want to be bad. I don't want to win 7, 8, 9 games next year. I think this team is probably going to win 7, 8, or 9 games next year. I just don't want to see it. I don't want to be picking 16th again. So I'm going to cheer for 12 wins or 12 losses, nothing in between.
That actually makes sense. Brian, give me a specific record prediction, if you will, based on everything that's transpired this offseason.
Specific. You see how he did me? He's got me hemmed in for a specific record. No, but I think really kind of the low end for us is 8 wins. My record is 11-6. But 8 wins is probably our floor. I mean, it's really hard for me to see that we played with 2 bad quarterbacks and Scott Turner last year, and to have Eric Bieniemy and Brissett and Sam Howell, and we're going to be worse. It doesn't make that much sense to me. So 8 wins at the minimum, but 11-6.
He's going 11-6. Okay.
Hey,
now listen.
In case anybody didn't know this, you want to know why it's 11-6 and why it's possible? Dan Snyder is not the owner anymore. He's not coming back. Anything is possible now. It's not just, it's always going to be 0-17. That's just.
Hey, if that's not allows a bit left guard, man, I believe it.
Listen, with all this momentum, and if we go week 1 lose to the Cardinals, I'm done.
I'm going. Yeah, if we go to week 1,
I will be there week 1. I do not want us to lose.
I'm all in for Caleb Williams if we lose to the Cardinals on first week 1.
That would be horrible if we lose week 1.
Eddie,
I'm saying put Jacoby in.
Yeah. Eddie, give us your record, man. Where are you at right now?
I think I'm gonna go maybe 10-7. You know, because I think we have the element of surprise to a degree, like I mentioned. I think there's certain expectations from us around the league where people assume that we just are, not cursed, but destined to, get in our own way. And I think, and you just got to factor in that there's going to be injuries, hopefully none on our end. But look at what was it? Chase Young's rookie year. Our schedule was slated to be really difficult, and I think there were at least 3 or 4 teams where we ended up going in being the favorite because they had so many injuries, especially the 49ers game. I know that's just one game, but it could happen again. It could happen.
Definitely. Mike, you agree with your co-host there?
Slightly, I guess. I understand what he's saying about the schedule and how it's fluid. Like the way the schedule looks now, can look different in November because of injuries, team performance, yada yada yada. But I'm gonna say 9-8 specifically because of the schedule. It's a difficult schedule, young. Like it's a really difficult schedule. Yeah, we got the game versus the Cardinals, but then right after that, in order, Broncos, Bills, Eagles. Are you kidding me? That's the next 3 games after the week 1 game versus the Cardinals. We could easily start out. Yeah, okay. We could easily start off
casual thing.
We could easily start off 1-3, but I'm gonna tell you, if we start off anything 2-2 or better, it's gonna be a fun season. But I'm gonna play it safe, even though I love the roster, even though I like the coaching staff. I'm happy that Snyder's gone. I'm gonna keep it realistic and say 9-8. But who said the floor was 8 wins? Was that you, Brian?
Yeah.
The floor is 8 wins.
Scott, hold on. Was Scott Turner inept? Was he awful?
Yeah.
Was he incompetent? Okay.
What does burgundy Kool-Aid taste like, Brian?
It tastes really good, but y'all are convincing yourself that Eric Bieniemy is as dumb as Scott Turner. I'm not into that.
Roll
that
me up,
Chocolberry whack
whatever you got over there. Roll me up one, two.
I get it because
that's what we're doing. We're saying Eric Bieniemy is as dumb as Scott Turner, and that he is going to make terrible calls all year long to get us to 6 wins, 7 wins that people are talking about.
I understand the logic, but I don't know. 8 wins. The floor being 8 wins is crazy.
The ceiling is the roof.
I mean, what was it before? 7?
Or is the ceiling the floor?
The floor is lava. Damn it!
It is for the people upstairs.
All right, Zoo. Wow, what's your record prediction this year?
I'm going with 10-7. I'm still optimistic, so I want to be on the double-digit train. But with looking at the schedule, like the AFC East is not going to be easy to deal with at all. If the NFC West is healthy, they are not going to be easy to deal with, except for the Cardinals week 1. And then if that's a problem, then sure, I'm going to just say that we're going to tank if we lose to the Cardinals week 1. But I'm going with 10-7. I feel like the big factor this year is that if we do lose, when we lose games, it's going to be not by much. It's going to be like within a score. And I think that's going to be success in this offense if we can actually keep it a tight fight until the clock runs out.
I like it. Rashad, what do you got for your schedule this year?
See, the problem with Ron Rivera coach teams is we always keep it within 1 score. It's how do you manage that 1 score game, and that's how we end up blowing 3 of the games we lose. So it's like I'm looking at the schedule, and there's a point where I can actually see us going on a mini run, but it's like Ron Rivera's won 8 games every year he's been here. I haven't seen anything better or worse than that. He is the middle. So I'm going to go with 8 wins again because I haven't seen anything else. I want to have hope, but Ron Rivera is going to make us lose 2 games off time management. And that might be the difference between 8 and 10.
Robbie riding, bro.
Call that man Ron Midvera.
Yeah, I think August 9th should be Ron Rivera Day.
I see what you did there. Hey, Dev, you're the guy who coined the phrase Ron Rivera's Jeff Fisher. I remember that distinctly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, man. I'm with Rashad. 8 wins is the ceiling, bro. And he's going to get fired. That's going to happen. I hope y'all are prepared. He's going to get fired. Because here's the thing that's got to happen. We've got to have one of those miracle 2012 years, man. That's got to happen. We got to, at the end of the year, we have to know that Hal's the guy. There can't be no we can't have another pod like this with 12 people on it and asking, hey, man, is this the guy or not? We got to know. If he's not the guy, we're questioning it. Ron's got to go, bro. He can't be. He's had 4 years to get a quarterback. He's given us Taylor, Wentz, some Fitz, and another dude with 1 leg. That really wasn't his fault, but he still played him.
And 8 wins every time.
Right, yeah, 8 wins, bro. He's some mid, bro. With seeds and stems. That's what Roddy
Everything
is,
changes, but it stays the same. Like I want to see progress, but it just stays the same.
Look, I want to see, and I'm like, I think Eddie might have said it. Look, man, I don't need Don't give me 8-9 wins, man. Give me no wins. Go 0-17, bro, or go 17-0. You got to do. It can't be one or the other. Hey, I might not even fire you if you go 0-17, because then I feel like you did it on purpose. You know what I'm saying? But if
You know it's all a part of the plan.
Right. Hey, you looking at the guy who helped coin the term in 76ers land, trust the process. Maybe there's a little trust the process going on where we just tank for Caleb. Maybe that's it. Because you got to, let's just be realistic, guys. How many times has it happened that somebody who threw 15, 18 passes in his career, drafted in the 5th round, comes in and becomes a star quarterback in his first year? How many times has that ever happened in life? What, Brady? Maybe,
I have those arguments on the daily.
I know.
I think that our fan base, some reason, thinks Hal is the GOAT, man. Like, it's just like Jesus Vick.
I'm not trying to extend the show topic by saying this, but when it comes to quarterback, like just like the offensive line, I feel like a lot of people are overlooking things. If you can have a quarterback come in a good situation, they can perform. We just saw it last season with Brock Purdy. Would Brock Purdy go to a team like?
Now they don't.
I'm gonna just say the Texans.
They don't like facts. Don't
facts. If Brock Purdy was on the Texans,
how many Brock Purdy's are there though?
No, that's not the question. The question is how many Kyle Shanahans are they?
One. That's my point. And let's be honest. Everybody talks like Kyle's great and all, but let's be honest. Up until the last 2 years, Kyle Shanahan and Ron got the same damn record, bro.
The 49ers been ravaged with injuries. Let's be honest.
We're gonna save it for another show.
Leg on the field, bro.
Phil, what's your record prediction for the season?
7-8 wins, bro.
So we actually on our pod, when the schedule came out, did our way too early predictions and went game by game. And my prediction came out to be 11-6.
There you go.
And
is that the floor?
And I'll tell you what, the floor. I think the floor is 9. The floor is 9.
Ooh, 9. What is wrong with y'all?
How many wins?
We're not. Phil, finish.
Is that it? Do some of y'all?
I knew I was dropping.
Y'all going to? I'm missing out on. I need to figure out
what Snyder back.
I knew I was dropping a nuke when I said that.
I can't do our podcast by myself.
Who's in bring Snyder back?
We can't play. We can't win.
Here's the thing.
We're going to Super Bowl.
Every now and then, all the stars align, and things break right for us. Right? If you look at Ron's history, the same thing happens. Every couple of years, the stars align and everything goes right. And I've just got that old feeling that with that Bieniemy magic on offense, the stars will align themselves this year. Now, I think that if the stars really align, we can win more. But 11-6. I mean, I've looked at it now. Is it because I'm an eternal optimist? Sure. But I don't know. I had this feeling before the sale was final. All right. We did this prediction when the schedule came out. And this is when we were getting these little things of, the sale may not go through. Oh, this may happen. Oh, that may happen. And I was so like, 11 wins. I feel it. This is a lot of gut intuition with me.
You are feeling, Phil, it's called fentanyl poisoning.
I was about to ask, what'd you eat for dinner? Because there might be something else that you're feeling.
I had, I had 2 perfectly done burgers, medium.
Okay. No chilies on them or anything?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. I get that feeling sometimes too, and I think
wrong Latino over here. But anyway, but no, just not just gut feeling, but I just feel like that the close games we lost last season because our offense could not consistently move the ball. We win this season because we have an offensive coordinator who has a better idea of what he's doing. We have better talent at quarterback. Anybody who's still part of the Heineke
Eric Bieniemy's the same as Scott Turner, right?
Huh?
Eric Bieniemy's the same as Scott Turner. That's what
I mean, it wasn't Scott Turner.
Eric Bieniemy in a coma is better than Scott Turner.
Oh, I know it, but that's what everybody's saying with these records.
All right.
Nah, it's
I mean,
not that Eric
I'm
Bieniemy. It's
just-
not that they're better. That Snyder. They're better than Snyder. They're worse than Eric Bieniemy's worse than Scott Turner. It's just the fact that the league is unpredictable. Injuries do happen. We have a lot of question marks. So I'm not going to set the floor at 8 or 9 wins. I can't do that. I'll set a ceiling of 11 to 12 wins.
Fall out. But I'm
Yeah.
going to treat this as if we have average injuries and average everything else. All right. I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, this is going to be the year we lead the league and guys in IR again." I can't live like that, because if you live always expecting the worst case scenario,
I feel like y'all are all saying the same.
you end up doing things like, I don't know, saying, "I think WFT was a good name for this football team." That's a discussion for another pod.
I feel like everybody on here is saying that we are going to be terrible unless everybody else screws up.
No,
Then we're going to win 12 games.
I
That's
think
what-
we're doing 11
that's what
games
like-
if everything goes good. I'm not even saying like perfect. I'm just saying if everything goes good, you can win 11 games.
Ron going to get fired at the end of the year, dog. We're going to be having a new coach.
I think that's wishful thinking on your part.
I like Ron, dog. I'm on record. I hope Ron doesn't get.
Yeah, but you like Ron in the front office.
I like Ron. I don't want him in the front office. He's like the worst drafted person.
Dude,
I don't want that guy nowhere but on the sideline.
He needs to go to the back office.
Yeah, I like Ron though. I like Ron. I think his first job is to build a culture and not win. I think he's done a good job at that, man. I think the thing they brought him in to do, he's done. Now he's got to win, and he ain't going to. He's going to win 8 games again, like he always does. And then we're going to be like, well, if this guy ain't get hurt, or we was one quarterback away, we got the same damn discussion in 2024. We was one guy away. They never going to get the guy though.
I do not treat Sam Howell like a typical 5th round quarterback, because I watched him in college.
Because he threw 18 passes.
I know why.
Every quarterback in the NFL ball.
No, we're not doing that tonight. We are not doing that.
I know why he slipped.
No, we are not.
Your
you know who's better than Howell in
quarterback.
college? Tebow. What's he doing, bros?
I'm gonna say we're gonna win 8 games, right? And I think a lot of that is because maybe not because of the offense, but last year our defense really benefited from the ball protection that the offense was doing. They were playing keep away with the football basically the whole time. So our defense may get exposed a little more than normal this year. So we'll see what happens. Maybe they'll still be strong. Maybe they won't. I don't know. We are an hour and 17 minutes in. Thank you, everybody, for joining our training camp extravaganza. We appreciate it, fellas. Make sure if you're listening, you go check out everybody's content that's on this podcast. They do really great things. Rashad, get back in the game, man. The game needs you.
Send me the link, man. I'll jump back in
all the time. Zoo's got his content. Zoo, give it to us one more time, man. Where can they find you again?
Yeah, so it's Zoo786, that's Z followed by 5 U's. 323 with Reed Murphy is a podcast that I frequently hop on as a guest to talk about Commanders football. And Animation Deliberation is the podcast where we talk about anything animated related, whether you're a fan of anime or movies like Into the Spider-Verse or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coming out. That's what we talk about on a weekly basis. So please check both of those shows out.
Make it happen. Command this podcast with Steve, Dev, and Phil. They do a great job. They do all kind of stuff on there, man. It gets wild. If you didn't notice from them being on here, it gets wild over there. It's a great list. It's a lot of fun. Check them out. And, of course, always check out my guys, Eric and Brian. They do great things on this podcast. We appreciate you. We are out of here. Eddie and Mike, thanks for joining us. Catch you next time. Peace.